back to another day, another episode. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone had a good weekend. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about former Bethesda executive Pete Hines says Game Pass is nothing without the people making the games. It's amazing, Pete. What words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. We're talking about Borderlands 4. Boss Randy Pitchford wants everyone to have realistic expectations for performance ahead of launch. Okay, another great, brilliant take. We're also going to watch a video from Bellular News. Helldivers 2 has a crippling problem. If you like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5, and we do appreciate you very much. Speaking of members, Eclipse, thank you very much for the 23 months of support on the channel. I appreciate that very much. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. 1 month away from 2 years. Which is crazy. That's crazy. So I appreciate you. Good morning. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Z? What's going on, Ward? Roic, Sarge, Jason, Eclipse. Altern, good morning. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone had a great weekend. This weekend was pretty eventful for me. We went, did some things. We went to one of the theme parks. We went to, actually went to 2 theme parks this weekend. Went to Epcot, and we also went to Animal Kingdom. Since we have annual passes. I played a shit ton of Helldivers. I'm level 29 now. I've unlocked 3 war bonds, and we're about to unlock our 4th war bond. So we're working our way through. I unlocked the one where the teleporter is in, and so now I'm running solo, running through things, jumping in with randos. Playing with friends that I haven't seen in years. Okay, years. Haven't talked to them in years since we played other Battlefield games and whatnot. All of a sudden, like, the old crew's getting back together, but inside Helldivers, which is interesting. So we'll talk a little bit about Helldivers later in the show. How's everyone else's weekend? Hope everyone else's weekend was doing well. Everyone had a fun time, or did something fun, I should say. Sarge says, realistic expectations on performance. What the fuck are you talking about, Randy? The game should run well at launch. That's what I'm saying, Sarge. Like, but you gotta lower your expectations. What's going on, Worlds? Let's start off. We'll start off with the. Actually, you know what? Let's start off with the Borderlands one. Right? Let's start off with the Borderlands story. Borderlands 4 boss Randy Pitchford wants everyone to have realistic expectations for performance ahead of launch. Says this is a big, open, AAA game, and lower end and older hardware may not perform as well. Well, there you go. Basically, in a gist, he's saying the same thing as Todd Howard said for Bethesda. Yes, this has to run on new hardware, so you might have to upgrade your PC. You might have to upgrade your, what's it called? You might have to upgrade your console. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. So we're putting it on the old systems, but we really don't want it to run well on the old systems. See, we're making it shitty on purpose, so then you would have to get frustrated and then buy the next system. I mean, let's go. All right. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We cover news stories, have conversations if you like it. We do this, like I said, 4 days a week. We just have conversations, not one side or the other. It's just my thoughts and opinions on the article that I read for the first time on stream itself. We also have other videos that we do on uploads on this channel. We just did one, why Left 4 Dead is this generation, or I'm sorry, Helldivers is this generation of Left 4 Dead, basically, right? Is Left 4 Dead of this generation, is Helldivers 2. That video went up on Friday. Go check it out. It's not doing very well because nobody knows about it. So it'd be great if you guys could share it, comment on it, and do all the things. All right, so Borderlands 4 boss Randy Pitchford wants everyone to have realistic expectations for performance ahead of launch. This is a big, open AAA game at lower end, and older hardware may not perform as well. So Borderlands 4 is almost here, and upcoming looter shooter is finally set to launch this week, unless you're on Switch 2. And Gearbox boss Randy Pitchford wants everyone, or give everyone, a lower and older PCs some realistic expectations for performance. It has been confirmed that day one patch is in the works for Borderlands 4, which is the new series of Twitter posts Pitchford said. Does a lot. Even so, it won't work miracles. I love the fact that companies make games, right? They make games. They know the date when the game's coming out, and yet they're not done. They're not complete. They're going to get launched regardless, and then even the day one patches are not going to fix the problems of the things that they already know the problems of, right? It says, quote, the expectations for using below minimum specs machines should be that the game is unplayable. It's a big, bold, new, seamless world, and I'm sorry to say that the older hardware may not provide buttery smooth performance, or the latest gen AAA games, as has always been in the case since the dawn of PC gaming, he states. He says, elaborating on this a bit further, Pitchford explains that the collaboration with Gearbox engineering team, publisher 2K quality insurance team, sets the standard at 2K QA reports indicate that they are able to achieve 60 frames per second average with minimum PC specs, typically medium settings, of course. Different PC configurations will vary, and HDD versus SDD is also a factor for the hitching. Pitchford continues to say, yes, day one patch has some key improvements of optimization. I just want everyone to have realistic expectations for performance. This is a big, open AAA game, and lower-end and older hardware may not perform as well as higher-end modern PCs. Imagine in a world, what's going on, Water, where I myself put a stipulation in front of my stream, right? But like, hey, I know you're here to watch an entertaining show, but things happen, and you can't always expect it. So I want you to lower your expectations about what we're going to be talking about here today, because not every day is going to be a good, like, shut up, right? Just make the product. Make the product. Make the product work. Right? The big open AAA lower and end older hardware may not perform as well as higher end modern PCs. If you're you have to make the game work on the least amount of power. You see what I'm saying? Like the high ends, yes, it should work, but the lower ends it should work as well as the ones on the higher end. Right? You're only as good as your weakest link. Okay? If your weakest link is the high-end stuff and it cuts out everybody else, well, then you failed as a business to sell a product to the majority of the player base instead of going, well, you got to lower your expectations. I don't want you guys to think I don't want you to think that your computer is going to run our game smoothly. We have the best guys working on it, but don't think it's going to work. Just expect it not to work, okay? If you're all uncertain about how your PC will handle Borderlands 4, the Gearbox boss says he's asked for some assists to be generated to show a range of specifics and how to perform at different settings to help users decide. Well, here's the thing. How about this? Don't buy it. Don't buy it until these things work, until the reviewers come out and tell you that it will not run on this system. Do not buy it. Don't buy it and then go, oh, it doesn't work and get a refund. Don't buy it. Don't buy it until they prove that it works. How is this hard? Why do I have to pay money to see if it's going to work? It should work. Hence why I'm giving you my money. Look, I'm not buying the game regardless. There's so many things behind the scenes with 2K games and Gearbox that I'm not interested in their games at launch. Okay? But for anybody that's going to pick this up on PC and you don't know if it's going to work, don't buy it. Do not buy it day one. Wait 1 week, wait 2 weeks, wait 1 month, wait 6 months. You know why? It's not going anywhere. This is a live service game that they're going to constantly upgrade and update and give you better performance at a later date, and there's no reason for you to get upset or mad that it's not going to run on your system. So just don't buy it right now. Overall, though, he concludes that we're confident in the game's performance and optimization, especially given what the software is doing under the hood. It's doing a lot under the hood. They don't want to tell you what it's doing underneath the hood, but it's doing a lot. A lot of other things happening behind the scenes that they got. So much so that they basically own all the rights to anybody that streams it, by the way. So if you make content on Borderlands 4, they own the video. So if you're a content creator and you're making content for this, just let you know that Gearbox can use your stuff without asking. So there's that as well. Right? This is absurd a little bit. Not that part at the end. The absurd part is expecting. Like they want you to not expect the game to work. They're like, hey, look, we're confident in the optimization, but I'm just putting it out there. Don't expect the best quality right at launch, especially if you have an older system. Sorry. Shit out of luck. It could work. We don't know if it's going to work, but just keep your expectations on a lower end, please. Like, what are we talking about? All right. Here's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about Randy Pitchford and Gearbox and Borderlands 4 about the optimization, right? He says it's good, but older systems, they might struggle. But to ensure you, that's not their fault. All right. Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some of our videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let's see what they're saying here. Roic says it's Unreal Engine 5, so we could have be some issues. Yeah, open world. Open world, Unreal Engine 5, we know doesn't mix, so there's going to be problems. Eclipse says, yeah, I'm trying to unlock the teleport one because it's learning how to do stuff solo. Oh, on Helldivers? Yeah, it's a life changer. It's a life changer when you're running around with those doors because incrementally it's building up. So, like, let's say potentially there could be 1 stack, 2 stacks of super credits in there, and you don't get that running solo unless you have someone else running with you, obviously. So you're missing 10 to 20 per mission. 10 to 20 per mission, 10 missions, you know, that's a lot of super credits that you're missing over time. So it's well worth it. It's well worth getting it if you're doing the solo stuff. Travis says it really shouldn't even be making stuff for the previous console anymore, but shrug. That is 100% true, Travis, but the problem is they are. And if they are making stuff for the other systems and the lower end PCs, then they have to make sure it works. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I make something for someone and I want to sell it to that person, it better work on that actual system. Not barely work. Work. It has to work on that system. Because Eclipse says if I can't get it to run on my Series S, then you better get it to run on a lower end PC. That's right. Waterbear says I got it for free. Didn't have to sell ice cream to buy it. You got it for free. Oh, Borderlands 4, you got it for free? Good for you. Who in the hell plays 30 frames on PC? If it does that, they can also keep the entire game. Well, some people can't, like myself. My computer, I mean, I can run 60 frames per second and stuff, or higher if I'm not streaming. But when I'm streaming, I have to put it down to medium settings and whatnot. Sarge says, here comes the speech a week before the game's launch that it might have problems. That's right. It might have problems, but we have pure confidence in our team to optimize the game. But it could not work on your system. Keep your expectations low. Water says, if the game comes out broke, buggy, and unplayable, I can only imagine the backlash. Eclipse says, what the hell is wrong with YouTube? I have to refresh it every time I want to send a message. It's pissing me off. I might not talk anymore. Lower your expectations of YouTube, okay? Eclipse, I need you to lower your expectations of YouTube not working correctly. Is that happening? Is YouTube not working? Fucking YouTube. What's going on, PS5 Blows? What's going on, man? Sarge says, I guess it would be pretty hard to review a game if you can't take it down anytime they want, right, bro? That's right. That's right. Clip says, well, Travis, they should care because they've proven every time something on PC, it sells most on PC. Yeah. Imagine all the games selling and most of it's being sold on PCs across the board. Travis says, incorrect. Helldivers 2 didn't sell best on PC, nor did God of War or anything. Oh, my God, Travis. You need to stop. You need to stop typing stuff you don't know, right? It's okay not to know something. But to come in and say, incorrect, Helldivers 2 didn't sell best on PC, it literally sold 3-1. It sold 3-1. Like, come on, man. Just stop. Eclipse says Helldivers 2 has 13 million sales on PC, only has 5 million. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. to say something like that and truly believe it. Let's see here. Altern says, I got it for $60 for PC. What, Altair, what did you get for $60? Ron says, what's going on, Ron? Says, I'm a true fan of Borderlands price. It's not a problem for me. Yeah. Travis says, my bigger question right now is the 4 studios working on Battlefield 6. Which one gets the blame when it fails horribly? All of them. All of them, because 4 studios working on one game. If the game comes out and it bombs, they're all going to have problems. Borderlands 4? Okay. PS5 Blow says, haha, Helldivers 2 didn't sell beat on PC. Man, the pony YouTubers be lying to Travis. Yeah, it's mind-boggling to come out with a statement and say that PC didn't sell more Helldivers than PlayStation. Is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. But he's just gonna skip over that. He's gonna pretend he didn't say it. Instead he's saying, "Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to say Helldivers didn't oversell." Right? 13 million. I think it was 12. Might be 13 million copies now. PlayStation has 5 million. And already 1 million for Xbox, if not more on Xbox. Not more, but I'm saying more since they last reported 1 million. Yeah, but here's the thing, Travis. When you're wrong, you just start attacking people. Instead of just admitting, going, oh, I'm wrong. Yeah, you're human, but you're subhuman when you start attacking people. Right? You're human until you attack people, then you're subhuman. It's okay being wrong. It's okay. And you don't have to tell people, well, I'm human. I think we all know that. If you're typing on a keyboard, right? Well, I guess you could be AI. Just, it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to get something wrong. Did you guys see that guy? I don't know his name. I posted in the Discord last week or a week and a half ago, whatever it was. He played Helldivers, a Call of Duty guy. And he came in, he purchased the war bond and started bitching that he had to pay for it. He bought the whole thing and didn't understand it, hated it, and shit on Helldivers, right? Everyone gave him shit. Like, he got canceled by the internet. Canceled by the internet, okay? He's like, this guy's a fucking moron. Everything. Right? I posted in general. Let me find the thing. This guy right here.
My fellow
this guy right here. Okay. He took it to the chin, right? He took it to the chin. He said the stupidest things known to man that anyone with a brain, okay, would have known that what he's saying is absolute garbage. But he said it because he believed it, right? Then, about a week later, after he got destroyed by the internet, telling him that you know nothing about Helldivers, you didn't read, Call of Duty has destroyed your brain, he came out. And then he said this, right?
My fellow Helldivers, I'm here in front of you today because I made a massive mistake. In my last video...
Do you see what he just did there? Do you see what he just did there? He admitted he made a mistake, right? He admitted he made a mistake. He didn't go on a defensive streak calling people, like, you go look at his comments, like, people rip him a new one, and he's like, yeah, well, I didn't know that, blah, blah, blah. He didn't defend himself. He was like, my bad. My bad. Let's continue.
So I upset a lot of you. I did a lot of things I shouldn't have. I didn't read. I compared this game to Call of Duty. And lastly, I tried to buy my way to the Halo weapons. It is with deep regret that I did the things I did. So today, I am here to make it right. I am going to play Helldivers the right way. At the end of my playtime, I'm going to be giving this game a new review out of 5 stars. Let's dive in.
So I watched this. He got in with another streamer, They're a content creator, a smaller content creator, about my size, whatever. And they went in and played the game, and he gave it an actual shot. Didn't try to clickbait, didn't try to do anything, played the game, still a little slow on it, okay, played the game, and then understand what was happening. And he just said he was wrong. He was wrong. And you know what it got? It got respect from the people that gave him shit. It was like, hey, this guy said some stupid shit, but he admitted that he was wrong. And then everyone was like, yeah, earned a little bit of respect. Earned a little respect. He didn't know what he was talking about, which is okay. But when you come out and say certain things and you believe it wholeheartedly, and even though every single bit of proof goes up against that, it makes you look even more stupid. What's going on, Kylo? Altern says, welcome to the teleport supremacy. We only play with people because we are bored at running solo. I put it on private, and then when I'm done running like things, I put it on friends only, and then people start joining in, and then we get it done quicker and stuff. So that as I'm running around with a friend, I don't even ask to, hey, door on me. I just run through the door. Sarge says, so he doesn't read, look up anything, and just rant garbage and got canceled. Weird, right? And now he apologized, but he apologized, I think, in a correct way, right? He might be a tool, Sarge, but he at least he admitted he was wrong, and then, came back to the actual sanity side, I guess. Ron Slusher says, Randy Pitchford is never wrong. Never. Travis says, okay, sold great on PC, outsold on PlayStation 5. Congrats. Good to know. No. It's not just a wave of, oh, well, good, congratulations. Your statement was dumb. You said it with a bloated chest, like you were showing up people and saying that, well, it didn't outsell anything anyway. Oh, well, congratulations. It sold it. Like, the statement was just stupid because you were taking it from a Sony pony side instead of taking it from an actual, just a standpoint of sales. You defended Sony, the company who still screwed you over, by the way, and you eat it up and still defend them, right? That's the stance that you took when you said, well, it didn't outsell anything on PlayStation 5. And now you kind of just wave it off. Right? There's no side. It's just the facts. The facts was, right? The facts was that it sold 3-1. You just kind of look, congratulations. No, it's no congratulations. There's no congratulations to us, right? We didn't make the game. We're just telling you the stats. 12 million copies. Right? It's not that we're defending or taking a side of PC is better than this. You said the statement. We're just letting you know 12 million to 5. I wave it off because it was wrong. I was wrong. Who gives a fuck? It happens. You're absolutely right. Who gives a fuck? It happens. We give a fuck when facts are wrong. So we told you the fact, and it does happen, and we're going to point it out. So it happens less next time. PS5 Below says Travis got his account stolen by GameShare. I don't believe Sony screwed him. No, he got his thing, shared it with a friend, and then they took it from him. Ron Slusher says, don't worry, Marathon and Fair Games should still better on PlayStation 5 than PC. Very true. Very true. Morning, Runner Rose. Kylo says, PlayStation fanboys don't know how to cope with Helldivers doing great on Xbox. Who gives a fuck? It happens. Yeah. I just don't understand. Like, I don't care, right? I didn't say the statement, right? The statement was that this outsold here. No, that's false. We're just letting you know it's false. A family member, not a friend? You said a friend. Originally, you said a friend. I don't give a shit if it's a family member or not. You said a friend. Let's go on, Mr. Luke. All right. Let's go to the second story, which is former. The real story of this, the main story of this, was really long. It was like the story of Pete Hines and his whole career, and I was just like, I don't want to go over that. So we're just going to go over this, which is the former Bethesda executive Pete Hines says Game Pass is nothing without the people making the games. Let's just take that from the standpoint what it is. But before I do that, if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5, right? So former Bethesda executive Pete Hines says Game Pass is nothing without the people making the games. Let's just break that down, right? The restaurant is nothing without the chefs making the food. The car tire company is nothing without the people changing the tires. The computer company making the chips is nothing without the people in the what are we talking about here? Just off the title. I don't know what he's actually saying in the actual article, okay? But it's kind of dumb, right? It's kind of dumb because Game Pass is nothing without the people making the games. Games are nothing without the people buying the games. How about that, Pete? Right? Your game means nothing if people don't buy your game. You don't exist. No one cares. So if without the people buying the game, then you wouldn't have anybody to play the game, right? Right? It's exactly right, Travis. Right? The show would be nothing if the chat wasn't here. Like, I don't understand this statement, right? Game Pass is nothing without the people making the game. So Game Pass is under more heat as former bigwig of Bethesda takes a shot at the current treatment of employees under Microsoft. Okay. Pete Hines sat down with the DBL Tap and discussed his career in former child Bethesda. An ongoing dismissal of gaming developers on Microsoft came up, and the former senior vice president of the head of publishing Bethesda had quite a bit to say. He says, quote, I'm not working on these companies anymore, so I don't assume that everything I knew while I was in the industry still holds true today, Pete expressed. He says, quote, at the same time, I'm evolved enough to know that I saw what I consider to be some short-sighted decisions making several years ago, and it seems to be bearing out in the way I said. He said only 7 months after his retirement, Microsoft would go to close the doors of former colleagues of Arcane Austin and Tango Gameworks, pointing a finger towards the current industry boogeyman. He resumed. Now, can I say something, Pete? They did get closed down, but they didn't get closed down because they got sold. So Tango Gameworks is actually still alive. They just sold them to somebody else, right? Quote, subscriptions have become a new four-letter word, right? You can't buy a product anymore, Pete added. Well, technically you can't buy a product anyway because the product you don't own. So that statement right here, you can't buy a product anymore. Well, you could buy the product, you just don't own the product anymore. So technically you could buy it, you just don't own it, right? Outside the fact that you can buy a product, the latest Game Pass release, Hollow Knight's Silksong, reached over 500,000 players on Steam, a platform where you must purchase the game to play it. Yes, and Game Pass, here's the thing. They say Game Pass is hurting sales for companies, yet they get money up front. We don't know what the money is for each individual company, okay? We don't know the sales for each individual company. But we do know they make money up front. Sometimes they like the deal. Sometimes they don't like the deal. Some people take the deal. Some people don't take the deal. But Silksong, 3 people created that game. 3 people over 6 years created that game. That game is on Game Pass. Now, from this point of Sean Layden and now Pete Hines and stuff, they would tell you that games don't sell because on Game Pass, nobody buys the game and it hurts the game. My statement is make a game, sell a game. It's always been make a game, sell a game. If you make a game and people like your game, they'll buy that game. If they buy that game, the word spreads and then it becomes a very successful hit. Well, Silksong had over 530,000 concurrent, 580,000, I think, plus, okay, concurrent, which means they sold millions and millions of copies. So it didn't hurt Silksong. Now, people will say, well, it could have sold more, but we don't know that deal. Right? We don't know the deal that they gave Silksong up front. Maybe Silksong said, we thought 250,000 people would buy our game. and they pay them $250,000 worth of people that would play the game. Now, I don't know if that's the deal. I'm just saying that if that's the deal, they're like, hey, we'll give you 80% of their money up front, or we'll give you 100% of the money that you think that are going to sell. And then most people, right? I'm not interested in Silksong. It's not my type of game. But if I wanted to play it, I would, right? I would play it. And then, which I wouldn't at all if I had to buy it. Because if I had to buy it, I would never try it. But now, if I try it, no skin off my back because I can play it. You guys ever been to the mall? I know a lot of people don't know what a mall is anymore, right? A mall, there's a food court. And in that food court, there was always the Chinese place or the Japanese place that would give free samples out, okay? You walk by, they say, hey, would you like a piece of, chicken? And you're like, no, thanks. And you would walk by, okay? You had no interest in buying that food stand, right? You had no interest in buying that food stand. But because the person sat out front and said, hey, would you like to try a sample of this chicken? And you're like, give me a... And you bite it and you walk by and you're like, that's pretty good, right? Now, I guess you could walk around the mall a couple of times, right? And just keep taking the free samples. If they're smart, you put a hat on, you grab another one, right? And you could just eating the free samples. Or you now had a taste of it and said, that's pretty good. And you go to the actual food court now and purchase the actual product, right? That's what Game Pass is, right? That's what demo discs were in the past. A lot of people play the game and go, oh, wow, this is pretty good. You know what? I think I'm going to buy it. $20. Why not? Okay. Expedition 33, Pal World. There's tons of games that come out on Game Pass, and yet they still sell a shit ton of copies because people want to buy the copies. They want to buy a game. They want to play the game that you made. So outside the fact that you can buy the product latest Game Pass release, Hollow Knight Silksong reached over 500,000 players on Steam, a platform where most purchases, you must purchase the game to play it. Now, Pete continued, when you talk about subscriptions, that relies on content. If you don't figure out how to balance the needs of service and also the people running the service with the people who are also providing the content, without which your subscription is worth jack shit, then you have a real problem. Let me break that down a little bit, right? Let's break that down a little bit. When you talk about subscriptions that relies on content, if you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are also providing the content, okay? If you're providing the content, which would be Xbox providing the content, which actually is the developers providing the content to them to provide the content to the people that are subscribing. So obviously, this platform needs these developers to make this game, to make this prevalent, okay, to make Game Pass prevalent. But guess what? Take Game Pass out of the equation. Take Game Pass out of the equation and now make game. Make game, customer, right? Customer says, hey, I want to get this game. If they buy it because they're like, hey, that looks interesting, they purchase the game, then congratulations, you made a game and now sold the game. But if the person, because there's so many games out there and very little time, we all have the exact same amount of time, okay? If this person's not interested in your game at all and you make that game and you don't have an avenue to sell that person, now you have an avenue. Game Pass is here to go, hey, what about if we pay you money to put your thing on our platform? Benefits us because we're providing a service for people and we're helping you by getting money up front instead of waiting to get paid, okay? And they're like, sure, let me do that, right? So they do that. And now they have a platform of these people were never going to buy your game. And now these people actually can try your game. And if they try your game, they might go back and play the first one. They might play one of your other games. Hey, this is a really good game. I'm going to go back and play the other one. That's how it works. Right? So Pete continues, when talk about subscription relies on the content, it says, without which your subscription is worth jack shit, then you have a real problem. Again, make a product, sell a product. Game Pass, Microsoft made Game Pass, right? So if video game company needed to make game to sell game, Xbox and Microsoft said, hey, let's make a platform to put games on to then sell to customer. Same exact thing, right? They made a platform to put stuff on. These people made game to put and get into people's living rooms. They're a cohesion. They're together. You don't have one without the other. But you both, no matter what, if it's a game or Game Pass, you still need customer to purchase thing. Okay, the layoffs within Microsoft, the Xbox, have been also perplexing, to say the least. Following a troubled release of Redfall, Arcane Studio closed its doors indefinitely. Well, first of all, make a game, sell a game. Once again, make a game, sell a game. Guess what? You didn't make a game. Redfall was an incomplete, broken, buggy, incomplete game. Mind you, still able to play today. Still able to play today where other games, like Concord, don't exist anymore. Okay? Game was broke, buggy, and unfinished when the game came out, and the studio closed. Why? Because you didn't make a game. Imagine that. Now, on the other side, Tango Gameworks released critically acclaimed Hi-Fi Rush. Even success didn't save it, okay, as their doors closed until a recent reopening thanks to Crafton. This one's perplexing, okay? But again, make a game, sell a game. Making a game still has to go into marketing. So has to go into stuff. They just dropped it. Shadow dropped it. It did very well. 4 million people played it. We don't know actually the amount of the sales, but that's the problem, right? We don't know how many it sold, and it didn't advertise very well. It's a very good game, right? It's a rhythmic game, which is a niche community, because a lot of people, let's be honest, don't have rhythm, okay? They just want to kind of play the game easy. They kind of made it easier, okay? But if you actually do the rhythm-based stuff, it's actually quite challenging, and people don't want to do that. They just want to play the game. They didn't sell very well, just like Redfall. It was a complete game, okay? But just like Redfall, to say, it was not very good in sales, okay? So it does the same fate as Redfall. Redfall didn't sell very well. Studio closed down. Hi-Fi Rush didn't sell well. Guess what? Very good game, but didn't sell well. Both on the same end. They didn't sell well, so the companies have to get let go because they made a game, sold a game, and they didn't do very well. Okay? It says, earlier in the interview, Pete acknowledged that purchasing an introduction of studios into Bethesda fold, which included likes of Arcane, Tango, ID Software, and Machine Games, he spoke mainly about the integration of teams and also how one studio could work with another so readily and openly to collaborate on something greater than themselves. He noted it became useful because working on guns at Bethesda Game Studios, maybe you should also have a conversation with id Software about how they make their guns. Feel so weighty and powerful. What puzzles me is about how Tango Gameworks fits into the equation. While it's clear that Machine Games, id Software, and others shared a bond over the first-person shooter and narrative games, Tango wasn't known for something like collaborative work in that area. So the former head of the studio penned an acquisition deal with Bethesda in 2010 because it felt Bethesda gave them the greater chance of being independent. To me, Tango Gameworks doesn't align with Pete Hines' overall view of acquired studios at Bethesda. He says, which then begs the question, was Tango Gameworks' closure more results of the lesser collaboration than any success of the studio had achieved? It's clear that the recent round of closures and layoffs at Xbox further results of Microsoft's overall strategy rather than the game development themselves. With AI being a real four-letter word, in the current day, 9,000 layoffs with Xbox, Microsoft rumored to have happened, funded over $80 billion of AI investment. While that doesn't completely negate the possibility that those layoffs occurred in Game Pass profits in mind, surely it helps mitigate the idea that the metric wholly drove it. Okay, it says, I haven't seen the closure of the studios like Obsidian, which also continue to produce similar successful games, such as Grounded, Grounded 2, and Avowed, the last of which had us a far greater budget than anything Tango Gameworks ever created. Okay, a lot of the things that we don't understand behind the scenes, we watch a lot of Laura Fryer videos here, and she says a bit about what happens behind the scenes. Again, from a customer standpoint, I don't really care if a game succeeds or dies, right? All I care about is the product good. Do I want to purchase it? Okay, that's it. Am I interested in this game? Is the game complete, right? Those are the qualifications. Am I interested in the game? Cool. Do I want to purchase it? And then, once I purchase it, is it good? Those are the things that I care about as a customer. I don't care if the employees are not making their money or they're working overtime and crunch. That has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. My thing is this game interesting? Do I want to buy it? Was it good when I bought it? That's it. Here's money. Okay? So I'm not trying to defend Microsoft. Instead, he says, I'm proposing a better understanding of why these layoffs occurred in the first place. AI or not, the closure of the studios will forever put a stain on any joy I have with Microsoft products in years to come. That is I understand where he's coming from here, because there's certain companies I work for, no matter what they did in the film industry and working in the sports and the convention stuff when I do filming, certain companies I'll work with and certain companies I won't. They're assholes. So I'll never work with them. They tarnished their name to me. Okay. But that is a very personal thing for him to say. And for him to have personal stuff against the company kind of clouds his judgment of why they're making the changes, right? Something happened behind the scenes and he just doesn't like it. And this is why he's coming off a little more angry towards Microsoft and whatnot, right? So Pete would have resumed. He said, quote, "You need to properly acknowledge, compensate, and recognize what it takes to create content and not just make a game, but make a product. Well, the product is the game. Okay. That tension is hurting a lot of people, including the content creators themselves, because they're fitting into this ecosystem that is not properly valuing and rewarding them at what they're making." Well, let's go back to his example of Redfall. Okay. Should the people in Redfall, in his words, let's acknowledge, right? Acknowledge, compensate, and recognize. Redfall came out. We acknowledged that it was a bad game, right? They got compensated by not purchasing that game and people not playing the game. And they got recognized because it was a broken, buggy, unfinished game that they released into the world, which was then later told to us that the people that were working on the game didn't want to make the game itself. Okay? So what it takes to create the content. Yeah, what it takes to create the content. People that want to actually make the game. People that actually want to actually make the product that they're making. Not just make a game, but make a product, which the people in Redfall, Arcane Studios that got closed down, didn't want to make. They didn't want to make a product. They literally despised making the product that they were making. Okay? It says the tension of hurting a lot of people, including the content creators themselves. Well, that was self-inflicted, was it not? They didn't want to work on it. When Microsoft picked them up, they were like, hey, thank God they bought the company. We don't have to work on this game anymore. And they're like, no, keep working on it. And then Microsoft got blamed for releasing that, even though they were hands off. Even though the people, the outsiders, saying, oh, we want hands off. It's so nice that Microsoft gives hands off, lets them do the thing. But then when they do the thing, they're like, well, Microsoft should have stepped in. They should have intervened. It's like, well, which one is it? From the outside, do you want the company to step in and change the stuff, or do you want them to not step in and let them do the thing? Because they let them do the thing, and the people that were supposed to do the thing didn't do the thing. Right? So it's not wrong to sense that the tension is building within Microsoft and affecting people and the developers alike. The variant of poison polluting those good people is the only slight disagreement we have. Each their own. You can get disgruntled employees all the time. You can have a loyal employee for the company for 20 years, and then all of a sudden he asks for time off, and they're like, no, you can't get it. And that goodwill that you built up, now that person has like hatred. It's like, I need this off. My daughter's graduating college, and I need that time off. They're like, sorry, can't get it off. We have a crunch time, right? Then all of a sudden, all that I love working for this company is tainted because the company, because of the upper management, because of everybody, didn't want to give time off, and then that person hates the company. It's simple things like that, okay? There's too many counter-arguments to ignore the success of Game Pass that has all brought into the multitude of smaller development studios, both within and outside of Microsoft. Never does it seem that Game Pass itself is hurting these developers. This mismanagement of Microsoft portfolio is also leading cause of suspicion and heartbreak within the development studios. Whether it's investments that outweigh the GDP over 100 countries, or is dissatisfaction of which some are also made up last Tuesday, these executives at the top are driving developers and gamers to distrust anything and everything related to Xbox products, Game Pass included. Excuse me. Microsoft messaging also has never been good and continues to baffle me, along with thousands of others. So there is this, if you want to call it the Xbox tax that people keep talking about, right? You can't deny it. There's something there. There is something there that people just don't like Microsoft. And I get it. I get it, right? Nobody likes the big corporations that have billions and now trillions of dollars, okay? You always want to fight for the little guy, right? Doesn't matter if it's big corporations or even the small employee that's working for the mom and pop shop, right? Because to the employee, the mom and pop is the rich people. And then the rich people that own that stop are against the landlords, and those landlords are the rich people, right? And it goes down. It goes down the ladder. So there's always that resentment of the employees mad at upper management. Upper management's mad at the CEOs, and the CEOs are mad at whatever. Game Pass is not the crux of the entire problem. The problem is the people that make games for these services now are changing the landscape of gaming because they make it more grindy and whatnot, because the mechanics have to be, because they want people to spend time. EA Android Wilson, or Andrew Wilson, his actual name, talked about how it's a one-to-one comparison, right? The metric said it's a one-to-one. It doesn't matter if they make the content or if someone else makes the content, they can make money. The longer people play the game, the more possibility it is for them to make money. Well, Game Pass, think about that in that sense. The more value that they put inside a Game Pass, the more value they have for Game Pass. So if they put something here and you come for Silksong, and then you stay for Indiana Jones DLC, and then you come back for Roadcraft, which is coming out this month, and then you come back for the next thing next month, you're more likely to spend money. You're more likely to then purchase Silksong when it's about to leave. You're like, I really like that game, and you purchase that. Or you might purchase a season pass, or you might purchase a something from a cosmetic store from one of their 100 games that are on the platform, right? You might go to Sea of Thieves and purchase a skin pack of a Halo customizable pirate ship. You might go do something else, and this is it. The more value you bring in, the more you're likely to spend money. So when you look at it from the company's standpoint instead of the maker's standpoint, right? If you make Redfall and Microsoft wants Redfall on Game Pass, they're like, yeah, we don't care. Make the game, continue making the game, because we could just throw that on to Game Pass, and that is just another piece of content. The developer's like, we don't want to work on this piece of shit because we don't like the actual game. Microsoft doesn't care. They're like, it's cannon fodder. Okay? We could just throw this on there, and there's hundreds of other games that someone might play. They might come in for Redfall and might check out something else. That's why Microsoft didn't care if it was bad or good, because they could just put it out there. Now you could talk about the quality of games on Game Pass. Does it hurt it? Is it the dollar menu? People say, like the dollar value meal at McDonald's. Sure. But remember how many people like the dollar menu. Millions and millions of people like the dollar menu. They didn't care about the quality of the food. It was good enough. It was good enough, and that's why you went there 4 times a week, because it was cheap and you could eat. Well, guess what? Game Pass is cheap and you can eat. Eating, meaning that you can play as many games as you want for a low price. And that's where it is. The value of what Game Pass is, from the customer standpoint, is much greater than the value that the people making the games that put on that product. But if you sign the deal, if you sign the contract to put your game on Game Pass, guess what? You're making the money. You sold out to the man. You sold your game to the company, and that company is making money off of you. You got the money off of them, so on and so forth. It's a symbiotic relationship. You either take the deal or don't take the deal. You cannot take the deal, try to put your game on. Let's say Silksong didn't take the deal from Game Pass, and they just went on just on PC. It was just on PC. And now let's say in a world where it didn't sell well. Well, they could have looked back on it, hindsight's 2020, and said, we should have took the deal with Game Pass, because they would have made that extra money up on top, right? So it's always a weird thing to look at and say, is it good or is it bad? You don't know, because we don't know each deal. Pete Hines seems like sort of like what we like. They're changing the way our entertainment is. I like the old entertainment. I don't like the new entertainment. He likes the old school, what they used to be in Bethesda. And Bethesda, once they sold out to Microsoft for $7.6 billion, right? He got his money. They got their money. And now he's a little mad because it's not what it used to be. Same with Marty O'Donnell. Doesn't like the way Bungie went. Bungie's not the same Bungie anymore as when he was with Bungie, right? They all sold out. They all sell. And 100% Pete Hines is 100% okay of being bitter towards the company, because he loved the company. He worked there for like 20 plus years, 24 years, okay, with the company. And now he's a little mad about it. I get it. But to say that this is bad and where it's going and to blame it just on Game Pass, I don't know. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, check out some other videos. Thanks for watching. Ron says, Costco hot dogs are delicious. They're okay. Give me gas. Give me gas. I like the chicken pocket things that they have there. Those are good. Akut says he's guilty of threatening, doxing, banning invasion, and more. He's no king. I don't know who you're talking about there. World says people seem to always forget that Microsoft pays these companies, plus helps them in many ways in development. Like they give also your head a shake. Yeah, they help them in so many different ways. And PlayStation does the same thing with their companies as well, right? These companies just don't force them to put themselves on these services or whatnot, right? They take money up front. Eclipse says, wasn't you the one that was also defending the Prince of Persia side scroller game, saying that it wasn't too much now? You're saying $20 is perfect price for that type of game? Weird. Who was that, Eclipse? Let's see. Lost Crown was $50 when it came out. Now, I don't remember. Let's see. 30. Blaming Microsoft for Redfall is like blaming Sony for how bad Bungie has become. That's a good example, Aku. Right? Bungie was bad before Sony had it. Redfall was bad before Microsoft picked it up. 100%. Costco pizza's okay. I gotta be in the mood for it. Sometimes the cheese and the sauce just doesn't taste right. If you're hungry for a meal, it's easy to pick up, but it's not the greatest. So do you guys think that Pete Hines has got a point here, that Game Pass is nothing without the people making the games? I mean, obviously you could say that for any piece of product. Okay? Right? You have a meal, the chef, the meal wouldn't get out to your the meal wouldn't come out to your table at the restaurant if the server didn't deliver it to you. Right? So without if the chef makes the food but he can't get it to the person, well, the restaurant's nobody without the restaurant. Like this is the crux of all the things. Of course, that if you didn't have the people making the game, you wouldn't have a game. But you could say that with literally anything. It's kind of a stupid statement to say Game Pass is nothing without the people making the games. Game Pass is nothing without the company that made Game Pass. Kylo says, Florida doesn't have many choices for good pizza. No, they do not, Kylo. We actually got this nice place by us. I won't say the name because it's in my area, but the guy opened about 7-8 months ago, and he does 3 types of pizza, which is actually really good. They're oven baked or oven made. He does a Detroit style, he does a Chicago style, and he does a New York style. He does 3 different types. He does the deep dish and stuff. They're actually pretty good, and they're nice and crispy. You get to see him make it right in front of you. And they're good. Not great, but good. He's stuck in the old ways, which I can understand, but things evolve, and he should be aware of that. Well, he does say that. They're different times than what he was. I was just having a conversation this morning at breakfast because we watched Lilo and Stitch, the live action on Disney Plus, right? And I've seen the movie Lilo and Stitch, but I've always seen it in bits and pieces, like the animated one, right? I've seen the beginning, I've seen the middle, I've seen the end, but I've never watched it in one go. I've always seen bits and pieces. So I know the story, but I don't really know the story type of thing. We watched the new one. Both my wife and my son both like the animated stuff, right? And they wanted to watch it, so I was like, sure, I'll watch it, right? So I watched Lilo and Stitch, and because I didn't really know the first movie that came out 2 decades ago, I thought the movie was good. Like, for a movie. I was like, the movie's good. It's a good movie, okay? They didn't like it because they changed the story, okay? They changed the story and stuff. Now, I totally get it. I don't like the new Star Wars. I don't like the new Star Trek. I don't like the new Doctor Who. I don't like any of that stuff, okay? Because they're changing what I know. They didn't like it because they know. But from an outsider watching Lilo and Stitch, I was like, well, that's a pretty good movie. I don't understand why people hate it. But I totally understand. So the person that was like, well, you should watch the first one. You should watch the first one because it's good. And I'm like, do I? Do I need to see the first one? Like, do I need to see the animated movie? Because if I know nothing of it and I watch the movie as is, it's an okay movie. Like, I don't think it's a fantastic movie. I'm like, it's a movie. It's a good movie, right? But if I watch the original Lilo and Stitch and then watch this, I don't think I would say it's a good movie, right? I would say it's a bad movie because they changed what I know. I didn't know what I don't know. So I thought it was a good movie. They didn't like it. I thought it was okay, right? Good, okay, whatever, right? I didn't hate it. And they're like, oh, well, the story changed and this changed and that changed and this changed. And I was like, well, let me ask you something. If you watched Harry Potter, the films, before you read the books, okay, you would say the movies are good. But if you read the books before you watched the movies are a little underwhelming, right? I've read the books, then I saw the movie, okay? Obviously, your imagination goes much greater in detail in your head because there's no budget compared to a movie. So they have to cut things out of the movie. But if you just watched the movie and never read the books, you would be like, man, Harry Potter's a really good movie. But if you read the books and then watched the film, you'd be like, it's not as good as the books, right? They changed it. They changed the ways. They changed the thing. And now they're changing Harry Potter even more for the television series and so on. But I don't blame the person for not liking things that change because they're used to certain things and it changes, right? I'm stuck in my ways. I like the old Star Wars stuff. I don't like the new Star Wars stuff. But someone coming up and watching the new Star Wars stuff can say, yeah, it's good. I like it. They'd be wrong because they're not as good as the other stuff. But you know what I'm saying? Each their own. Each their own. What's going on, Mo? When we're talking about Disney, evolution isn't always better. Right. Eclipse says, I mean, the statement is so stupid. Like a console wouldn't be a console without games. Like what? What are we talking about? Yeah, I don't understand his statement. Well, Game Pass is nothing without the people making the games. Okay, the console is nothing without the people making the console games. Like, what are we talking about? Aku says, I enjoyed the new Lilo and Stitch. They rushed certain scenes and cut one character out, but they also got a lot of the humor down. See, I didn't even know they cut characters. I thought there was someone missing, but I didn't know that until after the film. My son's like, oh, this person's not in the movie. I was like, oh, that's weird, right? Budgeting, right? Because I look at an analytic point of view of when they make a movie, why do they cut certain things out? Well, if they added that other character with CGI, right, it would have inflated the budget big time. They're like, let's just cut that character out. We don't really need that character. Come on, Charles Hawk. Travis says, I had a guy tell me yesterday Star Wars isn't about the Skywalkers. Well, he's a moron. Star Wars 100%. The original Star Wars is 100% about the Skywalker family. All the way from 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. We don't talk about 7, 8, 9. We have this conversation once every couple months. People are like, I don't want Star Wars to be about the Skywalkers. Oh, I'm sorry. Star Wars is about the Skywalkers. The ones we got are about Skywalker. And the ones that attach to it, like Solo and Andor, all have to go back to bits and pieces of that timeline of Skywalker. That's what it is. I guess you could take the statement that Pete Hines just said. Well, if it wasn't for Star Wars, then you wouldn't have Andor. Well, if you didn't have the guys creating episode 4, 5, and 6, you wouldn't have Andor. Sarge says, and Waffle House isn't about breakfast. That's right. All right, let's go to... This is a short story here. I don't know if this is... Yeah, this is Starfield. New Starfield expansion potentially teased and coded message. We're doing like Grand Theft Auto 6 things here, right? The 2-year anniversary of Starfield sure looks like it's setting the stage for something new. Well, considering Todd Howard said they are making a second DLC, and it's coming out once a year, this one might have got pushed back, but it says 2 years ago this week, Bethesda Interstellar Action RPG Starfield debuted in Xbox Series XS. The first major expansion, Shattered Space, was released in September of 2024, and now a new expansion may be on the horizon. Well, no, we know it's on. We know that it's coming. We just don't know when. Bethesda officially Starfield's social media account shared an anniversary message for the fans that appears to include what may have named the next DLC. Celebrating 2 incredible years in Starfield. Thank you for everyone that explored the settled systems with us. We look forward to adventures yet to come. So, do they think settled systems is the... Do they think settled systems is the stuff? Is that what they're saying? Okay. If that went by too fast for you to catch all the letters, the two words appear. Oh, terrain. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Oh, I see. I see what they're doing. Okay, hold on. Can we get this on? Is it on YouTube? If you go frame by frame, can you go frame by frame in here? Playback speed. Here, we'll do 2.5. We don't need the volume. Yeah. So it's underneath. That's what it is. Got it. Oh, well, that's exactly what it is. Is there a date, though? Do we see a date? No date. Let's see. Is there a date somewhere? No date. Hold on, I want to see something. One more time. One more time. Is it coming out this month? No. There's no date. All right, so there you go. Let's see. Read on. It says it went by too fast. The letters of it, all the words appear. Terra Armada. So there you go. So there it is. It's the full logo. The name Terran Armada suggests the faction with direct links to Earth. In the lore of Starfield, Earth becomes uninhabitable, which also led to humanity colonizing the other star systems. Humans haven't had many reasons to go back to the home world but perhaps that will change. Earlier this summer, Starfield lead creator-producer Tim Lab confirmed that there will also be a new expansion while sharing some additional information. It says, quote, "We have some cool stuff coming, including free updates and features of also the players that have been asking for, as well as new DLC stories," says Lab. It says, quote, "I can't go into all the details just yet, but I will say that part of the team has also been focused on space gameplay to make the travels more rewarding." So you'd think that they would make it more rewarding because they're doing something with the next expansion type of thing, right? We're also adding some new game systems and also other new smaller delights. So there you go. Starfield also may be coming to PlayStation 5 or even Nintendo Switch 2 in the future. For now, those reports remain unconfirmed. So obviously, a lot of people have been talking about how Starfield's coming to PlayStation. There's been a lot of speculation that the new expansion will be linked to Starfield. The new expansion will be linked to Starfield once it goes to PlayStation. So they'll sell the expansion and whatnot, both expansions, Expansion 1 and Expansion 2, with the regular game on PlayStation when it comes out, which would make sense, right? Which would make sense. Aku says 30 Discord. Okay, let me a second. What we got? Yep, that's the... Thank you very much. There you go. There's the entire thing put together. So, coded message within the thing. I don't think, obviously, who knows if there's an actual... Is it coming out this year? Is it coming out... Do they release it now? Or soon, I should say, for Xbox? And people have already been playing it, PC and Xbox. And then once it comes to PlayStation, obviously, like let's say 6 months from now, then it includes all the stuff for PlayStation. Perhaps, maybe they bring it out by the end of this month. Maybe by the end of this month, we'll have it on the DLC for... Now, Indiana Jones DLC just came out, so I don't know if they want to cannibalize their other game inside their industry here, inside their studio, where Indiana Jones just released this past week. So maybe they want people to play that DLC there, and then give it a couple weeks, give it a month or so, and then maybe in October this comes out for the DLC for Armada. Remember, you got to come back to Game Pass. What would be the reason to come back to Game Pass, right? You own the game, or you play Starfield on Game Pass, but you don't own the DLC, and you're like, oh, the new DLC is coming out. Let me purchase the new DLC. Let me play Starfield. So they got to keep you coming back each and every single month. So I don't know if it comes out this month, maybe in October, maybe in November, but it's got to be one of the months to keep someone coming back this month to keep your subscription active, right? So Yeah, it's already been 2 years. Already been 2 years. Sarge says, how come nobody told me there was also a new class in Warhammer Dark Tide? I didn't see shit about it. We literally said it on stream, Sarge. In the morning streams, literally talked about it. Kylo says they also should just let the Starfield go and have every resource on the new Elder Scrolls, because it also sure seems like they also need the help it all can get. I still think that they can have a small team still making updates and stuff, because you would hope that majority of this content was in the works in the long run, and the people that are no longer making like the set design or the art for this game are now moving over to the next thing, right? But the people that are maintaining the game are now just maintaining this game and putting out the finishing touches on the DLC. I don't think the whole studio is working on, Starfield. I think, I don't know, 50 to 100 people that don't need to work on Elder Scrolls because they're not at that point yet to go over there to work on their part of the game over there. But that's the way I look at production and stuff, right? Like, you don't need me. I'm a camera guy, right? You don't need me until you start shooting the film. So I could be working, if I was in a studio, I could be working on another film until that film is ready, right? And if I'm busy working on that film, they hire another camera person to work on the next film. So I don't look at it as, well, because they're working on this, they're not working on that. I believe that pre-production is working on this, and they're working on this thing. And then when they work on the next thing, these guys move over to pre-production over here, while these guys are working on production here. And when they're done with production here, they move over to production over here. It's not a one-to-one type of thing. I don't need painters to come in to paint the house until the house is built. I don't need the construction workers there after the house is built because they're painting, right? They move on. There's different sections for the game to be developed. Waterbear says, add new life to 1,000 plants and start back playing it. I still think 1,000 plants is ridiculous. Sarge says, nobody cares about your game anymore. You shouldn't be cute about it. You should just be loud and proud. That's not how marketing works, Sarge. People get excited when it comes out, and I think marketing's fine the way they're doing it, teasing it out. People that are playing the game are playing the game. People that are not playing the game are moving on. Waterbear stands up for a new faction is going to invade Earth, and they're also going to do a crossover with Fallout and Super Earth, where the Helldivers come in and fight the Armada. It sounds awesome. Imagine that. That'd be cool. Another faction inside of Helldivers. Eclipse says, man, this football season is going to be wild. One of the fact that the Jets got 32 points, that's crazy. My Giants got their asses kicked by the Redskins. The Patriots lost. There's a bunch. Chiefs lost. There's a bunch of upsets in football already. Aku says, like 98% of the studio is working on Elder Scrolls 6. You have a small team working on TA 76 or Fallout 76, ESO. The DLC is for single player games. Yeah, they're not the same. I don't think so. The Steelers won. Wait, did the Steelers lose? No, the Steelers lost. No, they won 34-32, didn't they? Sarge says, Elder Scrolls 6 is not going to be what you think it is. Not this market. Not now. Yeah, like Randy Pitchford said, keep your expectations low. Be cloud and proud. Yeah, that's right. No, Patriots have sucked the last couple of years. Don't get me wrong, Kylo. But what I'm saying is here, I forget who they lost against. They lost against the Raiders. So, I don't know. Just, you look at that and you're like, the Raiders beat the Patriots, and barely, by the way. They won by 6 points. Aku says, Sarge, I'm just expecting Elder Scrolls game. No other expectations. Better graphics. That's about it. That's the thing, period. Like, I want the Expanse game to be amazing. I hope it also is, but I'm trying not to go into what this is and you'll also be disappointed. The Expanse is a brand new franchise. It's got to prove itself, right? like obviously if you're a fan of the series, you're excited of the game. As just a gamer, I'm looking at the game going, it's a Mass Effect, and now my expectations are if it's Mass Effect quality, because if it's going to be a Mass Effect, then it has to compete with Mass Effect. That's not my fault. That's their fault. They chose to look and closely represent what that is. So I'm not shitting on the game, but the game's got to prove itself before I look at it. Waterbear says the Expanse is nothing more than Mass Effect at home from Temu. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it's like Temu Water, but again, if you're going to come out in that space, not to be a pun, right? But if you're going to come out into that space and make it look, you marketed your game, it looks like Mass Effect, it acts like Mass Effect, it's going to be compared. It's going to be compared to what it is. Improvement over Elder Scrolls 5 is what I'm saying. I'm expecting Starfield graphics, which are very well made. People complain because they didn't spend the time looking at the new textures and everything. What's going on, Sweat Dog? Let's see. Handball all the way. What are you talking about, Sweat? What time is it? 11:11. All right. Let's get to the next story, which is a video of I'm enjoying Helldivers. We're going to be playing more Helldivers this afternoon with Mr. Luke, I think. So we're going to watch Bellular News talk about Helldivers 2 has a crippling problem. I don't know what the crippling problem is. Let's find out, shall we? If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. All right, so here we go. Links in the description, by the way, down below.
Helldivers 2 just launched a patch that sent player numbers soaring in Steam, but it is not just Steam. There is a new wave of fresh Xbox meat, which now means there's over 500,000 free thinkers out there defending democracy. Doesn't that feel nice? But here's the thing. It's Helldivers, chaos reigns, and like all good Helldivers news, there's also been a pretty large spike in...
So what is happening now? Is the performance again? Why is it every time this game has motivation to go up, it's just as much motivation of reviews going down? Is it the... Because I know I haven't played on the higher difficulties. So people 8, 9, and 10... in those difficulties, there's a lot more bad guys. And because there's a lot more bad guys, it starts to stutter, it starts to drop frames and whatnot. Again, make a game, sell a game. It shouldn't be doing that. It shouldn't be doing that.
In negative reviews. So yes, they've absolutely done it again. We're getting both the good and the bad, and it's all the same big story of an incredible game that just keeps struggling with audience expectations and having a...
It's also because of the engine that they're using. They're using an engine that doesn't exist anymore, right? It's held on by like duct tape with a visual presentation there, where there's no reason if they hire new people to teach them the software or the engine that's just deteriorating. So they're actually in talks now of changing the engine and going to a new engine. And guess what that engine's going to be? You guessed it, Unreal.
A few rough landings with their patches. But the CEO Shams Rojani says he's got a plan to fix this, and in his own words, with the Xbox release behind us, we'll be able to take a much better stab at it. Like a double stab with a bigger knife.
What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Yes, technical debt is crippling. With the Xbox release behind us, we'll be able to take a much better stab at it, like a double stab with a bigger knife. Oh, they're not saying Xbox is behind them. They're saying with the Xbox release behind us, because we were working on that. Now it's behind us. Now we have all the systems together. Now we can take a double stab at it because now we have double the amount of people that can go back and start looking at it.
A much better stab at it. Like a double stab with a bigger knife. Yeah, sounds good. Now, do you remember what it was like playing Helldivers 2, trying to be better but not having learned it deeply? Basically, the skill gap between extreme and Helldive difficulty. Well, back in the day, that's kind of what coding was like when...
Waterbear says, Unreal is shit engine for open world games, but it seems to work for sandbox titles. Here's the thing. Is it the engine that they're working with now, is it more crippling for them to keep working with it? Or if they switch the engine where it's bad, but they can fix it because more people and it's more updated all the time? I don't know. I would think that you would keep working with this game, and if you're not going to make a Helldivers 3 and you're sticking with Helldivers 2, then you might want to invest in switching the engine if you're keeping with it, because if the other engine is just going to be more hindrance to you as it keeps aging and more years pass, and let's say we're 5 years into Helldivers 2, is it smarter to move over to the next engine? Probably. I don't know. I'm not a coder. I'm not a guy, but if they can fix it with this engine, it might have different problems, but better problems than the problems they have now, which they can't fix. Does that make sense? Maybe.
I was just learning with lectures and textbooks at university, but the good news is today's sponsor, Boot.dev, is both the best way to learn backend development, and also one that is made specifically for you and me, because it's structured like a role-playing game, and it's got soul, it's got the sauce. Hell, the founder Lane hit me up years ago when they were starting because he's also a WoW player. And back then they were new, but now they've
I love
got
how
over
they have to put
700
achievements behind stuff to help you learn to dev.
50,000 students who have done over 33.7 million lessons, which is kind of wild. Now, Boot is all about learning back-end development from the fundamentals right through to advanced career-focused training. You'll be doing personal projects, portfolio pieces, and fun things like making a real Pokedex, but, you know, not some little front-end mock-up, like a real one that works.
Is it, with the memory leakage issues with Unreal Engine, is that greater or less than problems for the engine that's not existing anymore? You see what I'm saying? At least with Unreal Engine, they have support, and there's like a whole community and a whole thing that they can work with, where the engine that they're working with is like looking for parts for an extinct car parts that don't exist anymore. And you have to wait for other cars to break to take those parts off of that car to put them in your system.
Works server client. But here's what matters, right? Knowing the real fundamentals. That's something that maybe the new wave of untrained vibe coders doesn't often fully have, often to funny and security nightmare related results. Though I love the energy, and Boot's the way to back that energy up with the fundamentals, which by the way, here will be in either TypeScript or Go, all in a content-packed, well-designed and motivating structure that actually has soul. Boot is truly fantastic, and you'll get 25% off your first purchase at boot.dev/BellyNews. And if you're not happy, they'll refund you on the spot with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Plus, you can go and sample all their course stuff literally for free. So if actually learning how to code and to engineer is something you're excited by, just go check them out, because they're awesome. First, let's get oriented with the story. This time last year, Helldivers was only just starting to climb out of the funk, where players were just sick of patches that didn't let them play their way. Basically, at the time, Arrowhead were very much living by their motto, a game for everyone is a game for no one. But that motto was kind of a little bit broken, because people were playing Helldivers because they wanted a power fantasy. For the developers, well, they were also trying to make a satirical, tactical shooter, and bridging the gap between the two ended up being a problem. It was not a game for everyone, and that was the causing friction. But a month later, everything changed.
Yeah, I've said this in the very beginning, and you'll have to go back to my videos when we did the live streams about this. I said never, ever nerf a PvE game. Buff, but never nerf, okay? If you're going to buff or nerf a weapon, okay, you better have a real good reason. Right now, the new Warbond has the AR it's in there with the incendiary rounds, and they're in talks right now that they might have to nerf it because it's doing too much damage, okay? Well, then what you might have to do, okay, is just leave it where it is, because the amount of stuff that's in there, if you buff other weapons up, people would feel better. But if they buff other weapons, and they have to also buff the bad guys, right, the NPCs, because you need to do less damage to them. So they're going to nerf the weapon, but you already released it, right? And this is a bad problem with what they're doing. And I don't know if he's going to talk about the new weapon, but never nerf in PvE. just leave it as is and buff things, because the NPCs are not complaining about what's happening.
Arrowhead overhauled all of it, and this is what we called the Buff Divers campaign. It was 60 days of balance patches that basically just aimed to deliver power fantasy. So, they did that. They fixed things up. And then came the narrative rebuild. That had ongoing stories like the Jet Brigade and, of course, the Democratic Superstation. But this is Helldivers that we're talking about, so obviously the monkey's paw curled, because Christmas brought quite the stumble. They did a Killzone collaboration that had FOMO-powered monetization. It was really bad. They quickly reversed it, and after that, it's actually been pretty good. Nearly nothing but success. We had the Illuminate returning, region lock players were able to come back, the battle for Super Earth happened, but old wounds did actually remain. And as this new update drops, some players are worrying that things haven't completely changed at Arrowhead. But before we get to the salt, first, we've got to talk about something almost unimaginable a year ago, and, well, why this whole thing started. PlayStation's overall live service plan really...
This game, for some reason, every time it has its success, it has the opposite effect and it goes down, right? They're on full stride last year, and Sony comes in and says, hey, everybody, you need to sign up for the thing. Kills the motivation. Then they build up stuff again, and then they nerf stuff, and then kills the motivation, right? It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just let it be, man.
Seems to have gone off the rails, and even just before doing this video, we saw lots of rough-looking news, both with Bungie and also Fairgame. So it's not really surprising that they'd want to get their live services that are working, like this one, out to more places. So Xbox then. Xbox owners have been begging for this since launch. Even Phil Spencer questioned the exclusivity. He said he was not exactly sure who it helps, and the demand was real, and here's proof of that demand. Helldivers 2 sold faster on Xbox than it did on PS5 at...
We talked about this last week when they're talking about it sold faster, but in 6 days. Why did they pick the 6-day mark, not the 7-day mark, like a 1-week mark? Like, why didn't they just wait to make the article for 7 days or 8 days? Because it doesn't make the narrative. So maybe it did outsell, or it did outsell the first 6 days of PlayStation, but the 7th day, maybe PlayStation, word of mouth, the following weekend, people bought it. So there's a lot more people that bought it on the 7th day. Hence why they couldn't write the article. Well, it outsold PlayStation in 7 days.
Launch. According to Alina Analytics, 6 days after launch, they had moved just under 1 million copies on Xbox, 926,000, and that compares to the PS5 launch, which was 633,000 within the same time frame. So yeah, that snowball momentum effect is absolutely the case. Now what's interesting is that a lot of fans are thanking Arrowhead for bringing it over, but according to Shams Rajani, who is the CEO, quote, "It was all PlayStation."
This is another narrative that was going around, right? That's another narrative going around that Xbox went out to get this with Helldivers. But no, Sony came to Xbox and said, hey, do you want to do this?
Which, you know, in the broader context of PlayStation...
Right? Sony appears to be the one that pushed Helldivers 2 to release on Xbox in response to the fan of Discord who praised Arrowhead for managing to bring the game to Xbox.
Live services falling off the rails does make a lot of sense. They presumably could not just turn down having way more paying players. But another thing happened. A war bond. A war bond that dropped alongside the Xbox release, and that, we do know, was Arrowhead's baby. Essentially, they had learned from the Killzone debacle, and this time, what they did is they released a slightly more expensive legendary war bond without the FOMO, and I will admit to you...
And that, I think, is okay, right? One, it's 500 more war bonds or medals than, or super credits, I should say, than the last one, because it's a, you know, if Star Wars comes out, or if they do Gears of War, or if they do another, whatever, a collaboration, if they make it 1,500 instead of doing what they did and then monetize the other thing like they did with Killzone, okay, this makes it better. One, because you can earn the currency in the actual game, so a little bit more grinding.
You, I did buy it. Basically, it's Halo 3 ODST, and it is done so goddamn well. The gear and the weapons absolutely nail the fantasy, and when you actually look at the details, even things like the spent cartridges, the Bungie like animations in first person being replicated, down to whenever you go first person on the AR, it just looks like it's Halo. It's an absolute labor of love, and we now know it's one that Arrowhead pitched directly to Halo Studios and Xbox during port development. Now, in terms of numbers, even before the big patch launched, the concurrent player counts hit a new record with over 500,000 people, which does make a lot of sense.
Helldivers 2 dev team players to stop shitting their pants as players count skyrockets.
All this fresh meat is here, and, well, us vets need to teach them how to defend democracy. But then the patch happened, and that's why there's quite a few negative reviews. So let's talk.
That guy literally ran into the
patch
Why?
happened, and
why would you watch this? He's got the flamethrower.
There's
He's like,
quite
I
a few
got it.
negative reviews.
What are you doing?
So let's talk about that. It wouldn't be a Helldivers report without first checking in on the Steam reviews. But to be clear, we're not where we were beforehand. Over the last 30 days, across all languages, they're at 79% positive. Most people are having a great time with the new Warbond, the new features, the new enemies, the new maps, even though, well, one of those enemies does have people a little frustrated. But let's take a look at the spike of negative reviews to work out what's happening here. Because we do see that some players do not like this patch's direction. They're upset about specific enemies needing specific weapons, if that...
And I totally get it, right? What's nice about Helldivers, and I think I brought this up, I forget if it was on my own show or when we talked about it on Reforge's channel when the game first came out, I said that it's nice that you could use all the weapons on all the enemies, right? It's not about a meta where you need to use this weapon to kill this guy, right? You could use any weapon to kill him. There's a more efficient way to do certain things, but not everyone can do those things, right? So like if you want the sniper rifle, but maybe you don't want to run the sniper class, right? You could be your own power fantasy where I'm a hell jumper now with a sniper class and I'm going up above, which I like doing myself, okay, and sniping from a long range. But you don't need that weapon to kill those things, right? You just need a powerful weapon, and there's multiple weapons that you can use. There's multiple grenades or turrets or whatnot. And the primary weapons in the game is not the main thing that you should be using. Primary weapons are there to cover. It's almost like, hear me out here, in Helldivers, your primary weapon is technically your secondary weapon. You should always be using your stratagem weapon, if it's a heavy machine gun, the stalwart, the machine gun, arc pit. You could always use whatever comes down in the stratagem weapon. That's your main weapon, and your primary weapon is your fill-in for that weapon, even though it's called primary. Okay, and then you have your secondary for your pistol and stuff, right? That's your emergency weapon, right? Your secondary weapon's your emergency weapon while you're out of bullets of your primary weapon, which is in the stratagem, or your main weapon in your primary, which is actually your secondary weapon. This is what it is. The power fantasy is that all of these weapons are good for all the things, and your primary weapon is good, but it's not the one that you rely on.
That seems familiar to you. Yeah, we kind of were here last year. A lot of people seem to hate the Dragon Roach implementation as well, but then there's the bigger problems, because a sizable and vocal minority can't even play the game. And the right to be vocal, they should be able to. Basically, we're talking crashes, sound problems, comms bugs, latency issues where hosts are actually more vulnerable to burrowing enemies.
Well, really all you need, Roic, is you need heavy penetration and medium penetration, because obviously the light penetration, you don't need a heavy and a light, right? Because that means heavy's covering all the stuff for medium, right? And light. Where if you have a medium and a heavy, that covers everything.
So that's lovely. Things like extraction shuttles being embedded in geometry. That happened to me 2 nights ago as an example, and that's just a sample of the issues. And I think it's kind of obvious why this sort of thing happens. Helldivers is a big sandbox game. It's all about systems, and systems often interact in unexpected ways.
I think that's the next war bond I get. That's the next war bond. I'm 70 super credits away from getting my 4th war bond.
But obviously to the community, this reminds them of a very bad time, and that means that people are a little bit worried. And also, making it a little worse, the PC version now needs more than 135 gigabytes.
That's crazy. Like, why is it so big?
Of storage.
That's what she said.
That's a hell of a lot, and to some, file verification and reinstallation have become significant roadblocks. So with all that going on, what's the most popular post on the Helldivers subreddit this week? It's a very simple question. Would you prefer 2 months with no content if it meant a Buff Diver style performance fix?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Raise your hand if you would perfectly fine with no content for 2 months and a massive performance/bug patch. I would say yes. If you could 100% fix the performance issues with the game instead of just keep giving content, then yes. Yes. Right? I'm doing this right now with my house, right? Do you want to band-aid little problems here or there, or do you just fix the problem? Right? You fix the problem, because in the long run, that would be better than band-aiding it and trying to keep it going, right? It says, Arrowhead now is the perfect time to put your head down and focus on bug/performance issues. The Xbox crowd joined a week ago, and they have 16, including tomorrow's war bonds, to grind through. I doubt any Xbox player are getting through them all in 2 months. Well, I'm pretty close. No, I'm kidding. I'm making my way. Make an in-game reason for delay in content. The Illuminate stole your lead scientist. Super Earth wants to embark on an extensive research and development operation. We don't need extensive reasons. Just don't feel afraid to do so. I like this. Put it inside the game why we lose, why we're not getting updates, right? They took a hold of a massive planet, like make a major order fail, right? Get it to where it's almost impossible for it to happen. Okay, obviously we'll come out and we'll do it, but if they make it where it's unreachable, okay, then they can say the research and development team was kidnapped, or we have to save them, or whatnot. Okay, and once we think we saved them, they moved them. Okay, like make it in-game story plot of why we're not getting research and development stuff, and fix the game, fix the bug performances and stuff like that. During this time, it says you can also have other teams who have no connection to bug/performance updates work on other projects /brainstorm/try different avenues or ideas during the 2-month period. Work on some voice peak experiments with some missions/events. Workshop some armor/booster. Rework anything not on your normal path. Taking a break from the normal content routine can help bring back new and better perspectives on the game. Millions have bought your game. Hundreds of thousands are still playing it daily, including myself. I love your game, but hate having bugs ruin the experience. 100%. I think what this guy is saying is a really good point, right? And like I said earlier, not everyone's working on the game. If you have people that are doing the bug fixes, but you have other people that are working on other things, like war bonds and everything else, stop. Let them do other things. Have these people work on brainstorming and stuff like that, and fix your game. Fix your game.
So if that's shooting to the top of the subreddit, yeah, it does kind of show what players want. And Arrowhead clearly know about these concerns, so much so that they're very happy to talk about them. But obviously, talking...
This is like what Titan's saying, plus the devs are transparency, which he's going into right now, I think.
About them and fixing them are very different things. It might get him into hot water sometimes, but it is nice that this dev team are active in Discord. So the CEO has spent days talking to people in the Discord, directly addressing the complaints, saying basically that they take this seriously, and that's kind of quantifiable because they had a patch ready within 48 hours of the update, which was ahead of schedule. That's pretty good. It addressed some of the complaints that I've mentioned.
Which just means they knew about the problems before they launched it, and they were starting to work on it right away. Again, they shouldn't release something if they knew there was problems with it. They should hold it off. But there's contracts and things that they have to get out because other people are telling them to do so.
Here, but not everything, and obviously players do want more. As for actually delivering, well, remember the timeline at the start of this video? This is a team that hasn't really stopped for breath, and even with Sweden's mandated summer holidays, releases have been constant. It's been a pretty absurd year and a half of non-stop content, and that's actually why Giorgiani's Discord message particularly...
Yes, the technical depth is crippling. With Xbox release behind us, we're also able to... Okay, that's the thing you said earlier.
Hits hard. Quote, the technical debt is crippling. Yeah, when you have a sandbox game, heavily systems-driven one,
you have to constantly keep it going. This is when you have to hire a bunch of people in your company that can release. So in a normal job, you have a person come in, right? So I'll give you my experience, which is sort of like what's happening to them, right? When I was a manager for an amusement park, okay, back when I was 18, 19 years old, okay, I learned that I had to juggle a lot of people. So you would have your schedule of actual workers working the attractions. Well, if you didn't have anyone as a swing position to fill in the positions for people's breaks, then the management would have to do it. Okay, so you have to staff enough, but not only do you have to staff, you have to bring them in early enough in the process to train them so that person knows how to operate the cashier, operates this, operates that, right? So when you need a break, it doesn't cripple what's happening in the everyday organization. Okay, you need people to come in that know the positions, that can cover the positions. If a dev is the only person that's making the guns or the only person that's working on the bugs, okay, and you have no one to replace them, well, guess what? That person doesn't get a break. That person doesn't get a vacation. That person, and then when you fill in that person that they don't know what they're doing, okay, that's a problem. So you have to have alternating things. You have to have 2 people or 4 people or 6 people that work on a project where this person can get time off and then this person can fill in like this person was never left, okay? So you have to have this happen where you have to have a swing position inside your company or someone that you can hire for that period of time that you have confidence in that worked on the project that can pick up the slack when that person's actually on vacation.
And you're continually adding things and changing things, basically entropy and chaos just seep their way in unless you're very, very careful. And of course, being careful takes time, and that's always, well, it's always a trade-off when players want exciting new content. But his next words are the real interesting part. With the Xbox release behind us, we'll be able to take a much better stab at it, like a double stab with a bigger knife. So, players want a Buff Divers style sprint for performance, and it seems that some of what they'll want.
That's crazy. Do you see how many guys are there?
Want a Buff Divers style sprint for performance, and it seems that's.
Look, that is nuts, dude. And all he's doing is hovering. He better throw a grenade or something.
What they'll want to deliver, but there is a bit of a problem. Technical changes across 3 platforms, so PlayStation, Xbox, PC, that is harder than doing balance tweaks, right? Especially when you're building one of those platforms. Especially so, in addition to all that content, they
didn't build the platform, did they? Didn't they do the port with Nexus? Did the port for them?
Also building the Xbox stuff. Of course, now that the Xbox port is done, they can take stock. And yes, Shoshani rightfully tells people that not everyone can work on bug fix.
Okay, if we could put every single soul on just performance/stability and significantly improve those, we would. But not everyone can make impact on performance and that issue that we need to be fixed. Are complex and take time to work out. Again, not enough people, right?
They don't have.
Now, technically, you've made a lot of money. You didn't think you were going to sell 5 million copies, let alone 20 million copies. Now that you sold 20 million copies, you have a little extra money there that you didn't know you were going to get. So maybe you should hire the people that you need for part-time or to help fulfill and keep your main staff not burnt out and crunching.
People working in content. But that's actually where there could be some good news, because another thing has changed. The Dust Devils Warbond was co-developed with Wushu Studios. Now, they're a live service team. They've worked in other...
Okay, so Wushu Studios, our passionate lives in the art of the game development, but also success entirely are truly incredible people. Our journey is driven by the thrill of creating cutting-edge games and delivering unparalleled experiences to players worldwide. Everything we do is fueled by innovation, creativity, and most importantly, collaboration. Our team deserves a group of world-class creative and dedicated developers, and also trying to heartbeat of our studios. Our collaboration efforts can give a rise of spectrum of games from enchanting RPGs to blockbuster AAA titles. So these people worked on the port.
Games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Forza Horizon 5, so pretty good track record. And it seems that what this did was free Arrowhead up to work on the ODST Warbond.
So what's the problem? If you got the people working on certain things and it freed up people to work on this, then why is this even being talked about? Okay, if you hired a completely different company to work on that port, and then your team was working on this stuff, then why are we have this problem where you needed 2 months? Just hire the people. You have the money.
Which does kind of all add up. Less pressure from big external requirements, more focus on day-to-day problems. Now, in an ideal world, this does mean, well, the friction points that players have actually being solved. At least in theory, because, well, yes, nothing's easy, but also...
It's not in theory. It's not in theory. They weren't going to sell this many copies. When they were making this game, they were like, 2 million, 5 million people. They sold 20 million copies. That's 4 times the amount that they thought they were going to spend or make, right? So you would think now that they have 4 times the amount of money, they could go, okay, now obviously don't be like Bungie and go buy espresso machines and massage therapists and a 180,000 square foot building, okay? But you should be able to hire people so you don't have this problem. Now, hiring them, knowing that they're going to get fired once it's all complete and they catch up on the stuff that they need. And if they don't catch up, well, then obviously they need more people. This is what businesses do. You make a business. If you start making more money, you hire more people to continue growing your business.
So whenever you have a massive surge of new players, you will want to have a good content pipeline to keep them going. You don't want it to be a flash in the pan. And the whole thing that spooked people.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying this company's doing it, but if they make a crap ton of money, they only wanted to sell 5 million copies. Let's say they thought that's what they were going to sell. And now they sold 20 million copies. That's 4 times the amount of money that they thought they were going to make. Instead of hiring people and going, well, now we can make the game better and not kill ourselves, they're like, but we have all this money now, and we don't want to get rid of it because now I'm richer than I was before, which is cool and all, but you don't want to do that. You're like, I want to complain that it's hard work. We can't do it. Like, you can literally pay more people to come work for your business, and problem would be solved.
People about Helldivers with all of its post-launch drama was the idea that it could be a flash in the pan. So they will have a lot of pressures to do things that monetize, which is going to mean more war bonds, more content, all whilst also making all of the buff divers style improvements to the game and also the technical fixes, but doing those technical fixes in the context of loads and loads of new players on a new platform. And just about all of the time, the more that you add scale, just in terms of player count, the more things can fall over. And not even in ways that the average player may expect. Some part of their server infrastructure could fall over. That could then have, knock-on effect on lot.
This sounds like a problem with upper management again. Does it not? Your upper management should look at this and go, okay, what were our problems in year 1? Well, our problems in year 1 was expanding of the servers, tech issues, performance issues. Great. Year 2, what's our main problem? Technical issues, bug issues, and performance issues. Great. If year 1 has the same problems as year 2, and now you're going into year 3, coming in February, maybe, just maybe, upper management should look at and go, what do we need to fix? Well, we need people so we can fix our performance issues. We need people so we can fix our technical issues. And we need, like, if everything's working fine, you have people making war bonds and you have people doing all this stuff. If the same problems are occurring year after year, guess what? It's not going to be better in the 3rd year with the same people doing the exact same thing. You need to hire people to fix those issues. It's not rocket science. You have the money. You have the capability. You're making shit ton of money. Even if you didn't have the money with your own studio, okay? You literally have Sony, who you made a shit ton of money for, which if you asked for money, they would be like, yeah, you're the only live service game that's actually working for us. What do you need? But instead, they're like, nah, we're good. We're going to keep doing the exact same thing. Maybe magically in year 3, it'll fix itself.
Lots of other things. Basically, live service is hard, and as much as I want to say, oh wow, this looks fantastic, it seems they've got a robust plan, the deck is clear, they can fix up the game. Again, I just think about incentives, I think about pressure that could potentially come from PlayStation, and the inherent problems of scale, and I don't want to sell you guys down the river, even though undoubtedly, we are hearing some good stuff. So where are we at? Well, it's clear that Helldivers' success has came with a cost. Lots of profit, lots of praise, but also an immense amount.
Let's rewind a little bit. Lots of profit. Lots of profit.
Of pressure from an audience that is orders of magnitude bigger than expected. That was absolutely the case for this game's launch. It may also be the case for the Xbox launch, because that thing has went absolutely incredibly for them. And look, for the most part, this team has risen to the challenge. We're only talking about a minority who want to play that can't because of the technical issues, which I suppose is a sign of progress, but vocal minorities do shape opinions, and it's pretty easy, especially when you look really powerful and look like an incumbent, to just have the narrative slip through your fingers like sand, because those who are loudest shape conversations, and those conversations can shape people's reality. And Arrowhead clearly knows this. I mean, when you see the CEO running community management, just sitting there in the Discord doing all he can, well, you know how seriously they take this
That guy just walked off the edge.
risk. And while it may be frustrating, it may be tiring, ultimately, that communication is far easier than actually delivering the fixes. But at least there is some good news. They're now in a fairly stable position. Fans absolutely do seem to enjoy the game. Of course, we've got to remind ourselves that this Xbox port probably wasn't just turned over super quickly in a month or two. So likely they will have more staff freed up for content, bug fixes, and balance and all of that stuff.
You would think. You would think. Again, upper management knows, all right, guys, we're making an Xbox port. Let's get this going. All right, Xbox port is done. Congratulations, everyone. Round of applause. We all made the Xbox version. It's selling really well, better than we thought. Just like PlayStation sold better than we thought. Just like PC sold better than we thought. Here we are. Now we're going in. We're in a year and a half in. We're going into year and a half in. We're about to get into year 3. Okay? Or year and a half, 2 years? No, they're in the second year. Okay? February will be the start of the third year. Right? What can we do better that we didn't do the last 2 years? Upper management right now, please work. Don't be a Bungie. Don't be a Bungie. Don't be all those other companies out there that don't know what they're doing. Look at it. You have the money. You have the expenses. You have the thing to fix the thing. If you don't have the thing to fix the thing, guess what? Hire the thing that can help you fix the thing.
And that ultimately means this may be Arrowhead's best chance to pay down that technical debt. I certainly hope it is, and I can at least say that, look, I can go around with a Halo assault rifle in first person, and it kind of looks like I'm John Halo, and that does make me happy, because I'm actually pretty simple. Let me know what time you've been having, and if you want to see how the UK's laws impacting Steam, oh boy, check out this video next. It's not great, but it is entertaining.
Go check out Bellier News. Links in the description down below. I like watching his stuff. Yeah, it's so weird to me having a company and then like, well, it's really difficult to make a game. Yeah, we get it. It's really difficult for anybody to do whatever they're doing, right? The only reason that we say that, all right, it's really hard to be a parent. It's really hard to be a construction worker working on the side of a road when trucks are going by you. It's really hard to be a fireman working in a fire, right? It's really hard to be a surgeon doing brain surgery, right? Everything is really hard. Everything, right? If everyone could do everything, then everyone would, but they don't. There's skilled positions that people do their thing. We don't need anybody to tell you that this is hard, harder than your thing, or harder than that thing. It's just your job. Your job is the thing. It's not my job as the customer, okay, to feel bad for you because you picked the career path that you picked, right? I just don't understand, right? No one should compare, well, this is much harder than your job and this job is harder than this, and feel bad for us because this is really hard to do. Nobody cares. You're in a business of product. Sell product. Make product, sell product. Make game, sell game. Make book, sell book. Make movie, sell movie. Make food, sell food, right? Whatever your job is, that's what it is. It's so frustrating to hear people like, well, gaming is really hard to do. Yes, everything is really hard to do. What do you think is harder to make? Do you think it's harder for to make a video game? Or do you think it's harder to have a man's life in your hands and make sure they stay alive? Which one do you think is higher on the, well, it's really hard. It's dumb, right? We all do this because you want people to feel sad for you. Be like, well, I would have made a better product, but it's really hard to make video games. You don't understand what I'm doing, so it's really hard. I'm just going to let you know it's really hard to do what I'm doing. Okay, great. Right? It's really hard for do anything else. Nobody cares. Nobody cares because they just want you to do the thing that they're asking you to pay. You want money. I give you money. I want product. That's it. That is the bare bone of what it is. Is your thing done? Here's the money for it. Thank you very much. You made a great product. Not, man, I wonder if it's really hard to make a video game. Man, if it's hard for this person to scoop ice cream and put it in my cone, right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everyone's job is harder than everybody else's job. Feel sad for me. No, make product. If you want money for your thing, make sure your thing works. And if the same thing happens, and again, I'm not just talking about Arrowhead, okay? I'm talking about industry-wide. If your company still has issues, performance issues, the scaling issues, well, guess what? Then put money towards the scaling issue. Put money towards quality insurance. Put money towards the thing to fix it. And if you don't want to put more money towards it, then fire the people that are in your position now because they're not good at what they do. And you need to hire somebody that's better at the person that's doing what they're doing now. Right? You can't feel sad for somebody because, well, they're going to be out of the job. Are they the best for that position? If not, they have to get let go. And then you bring someone else in for that position. Because at the end of the day, the customer doesn't care if the person is good or bad or hard or not. They want to know that they were paying for something and it's working. That's it. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let's see here. Let's see. Scroll back up a little bit. Waterbear says, Helldivers 2 is a game created for gamers by gamers for those that liked to blow shit up. I don't even think Arrowhead expected to sell that much. Yeah, they didn't. They said this by their first game, I think, sold a total of 2 million copies. Lifetime. And I think a lot of those sales came once Helldivers 2 came out and people went back and bought Helldivers 1. Z says, even with the people that can't make changes to the stability of the game, if they keep adding stuff, they will have multiple people not working on anything they add for 2 months getting paid. Well, then you would have to go make them do something else. Like, if the person that's making war bonds for this DLC or whatever product is, they can go work on other war bonds that they're coming out in the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can still keep them working while the other people are still working on the stuff. Then you would have stuff in the pipeline. Once you're done with that, then let's say they make a war bond per month. And they're like, well, we're not going to release that until the next DLC is done. We're not going to release anything until the bugs are fixed. Okay? Well, let's say it takes 3 months. And the people that are still working on war bonds made 3 months worth of war bonds. Well, now they have a stockpile of war bonds in the pack that they can put out while they're still working on. So now they have a cash deposit of war bonds they can release at any time, plus whatever they're working on continuing after that. Eclipse says, what do you think, what I think happened to Sony wanted to make the live service game. Arrowhead didn't want to keep working on it. And they're like, hey, if we want people to work on it, you need to hire more people. Not us. Perhaps. For them, it's ridiculous profit. Yeah. 5 times the ridiculous product, or 4 times the ridiculous product. Altern says, do you think Helldivers 2 has already paid the Sony loss with Concord? I mean, what is Helldivers? $40? $40? Times 20 million? That's $800 million. I mean, I think they could help with a big chunk of it, right? A big chunk of it, if that's how they want to spend their money. I don't think they are, because they're not owned. Arrowhead's not owned by Sony. So the percentage they get, because they own the license or whatnot, the percentage that they get, probably, I would say 50%, so $400 million. So potentially, yeah, they could maybe just under what they lost in Concord. Helldivers has paid off for them. Sarge says you wouldn't have to pick the job. It's called your job. That's right. Right. It's so hard to watch a video and complain about it. That's right. Travis says, I kind of want ice cream now. Chocolate chip cookie dough. That's good. I like that. I'm on Moose Tracks. I've been on this kick of Moose Tracks lately. It's really hard to sell ice cream to buy a $150 edition of Borderlands 4. 30, see Splitgate 2, for example. Exactly. Fix your shit. Aku says, 30, it comes down to training. My job is hard at times, so is theirs. That's why they are trained for our job. I love to see on those devs fly an instrumental approach of actual clouds. Look, everyone's job, someone that works in a daycare center, okay, dealing with 20 screaming children, or a school teacher, or a police officer, or a firefighter, or whatever the job is, right? It's very hard. All jobs are hard, right? For different people, things are more difficult than the rest. This is why you find something that you like, that you think you would be good at, and then you become an expert in those things, right? If you like woodworking, then you start working with wood, and then you become a better woodsman or a woodworker, right? Pardon me, I don't know that, right? If you want to make pottery or make art, you would draw more, right? Art is hard. Making music is hard. Singing is hard. All of these things that people, there's a point of people that are given talent, and then there's people that teach themselves and become better things, okay? If you look at, I'll use a sports analogy, Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't the best quarterback when he was drafted. He was picked last in the draft, but he became the best quarterback in NFL history. Well, guess what? That's hard work, right? That's hard work. That's what happens. So I don't understand when people are like, wow, it's really hard to make. It's really hard. Yeah, I understand that. Great. You don't need to tell us that. It's just their job. Their job is this, and I expect them to make this. Working on a farm, it's hard. Great. Buy my eggs. No, that's not what you say. You say, here's my eggs. Buy my eggs. There you go. Right? Thanks for buying my eggs. Not, well, you need to buy my eggs because it's hard. It's hard work. Now they can go ahead and release Concord 2.0. Moose Tracks is peak ice cream, 10 out of 10. That is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Are you working hard or are you hard at work? There is a difference. Sarge says, blah, blah, victim. Blah, blah, feels sorry for me because I work. Like someone, just imagine, like a school teacher's like, fuck, my job is so hard. I had this kid today, he just didn't want to learn. Then his or her husband comes home, okay, and he's like, I was shot at today at work. Yeah, but here are my issues, right? This little shit in the classroom who cursed at me. He's like, did you hear what I said? I got shot at today at work. And be like, yeah, but my job's harder. Like, shut the fuck up. like, shut up. Everyone's job is hard in a way for them. But nobody cares to say, well, my job is hard. It's your job. Do your job. I didn't sign up to be a teacher. I didn't sign up to be a police officer, right? I respect all those positions. I don't respect people when they're like, well, my job is hard. No, your job is your job. It shouldn't be hard. If your job is hard, then you're not doing very well at your job because you should be doing your job very well because you love your job and you like doing what you do. Hence why they tell you, you never work a day in your life if you love what you do. Aku says, sorry, but that's too realistic. Women do that all the time. Oh, yeah, it's always, like if I broke my arm, like, well, I broke my arm once. It's like, okay, great. Like, it's not a competition. I'm just telling you I broke my arm. You know what I mean? Like, Water Bear says, actually, I had Dubai chocolate for the first time last week. Paid $20 for the damn piece of chocolate. And that tastes like a Crunch Bar. It was meh. Some chocolate, the best chocolate is Swiss chocolate. I don't know what they do, but the Swiss chocolate is just amazing. And you don't have to pay $20 for it. Dark Swiss chocolate. It's mind-boggling. It's like you eat it and you're like, holy Christ. This is like heaven. Oh no, for a woman it's competition 30. I think it's a lot of competition for a lot of people. A lot of people like to outdo other people. Otherwise, they wouldn't bring up, well, my job is hard. You don't need to say your job is hard. You could just say, at work today, it was kind of hard. Today was hard, but my job feels sorry for me. All right, let's see what's going on here. What else is going on here? Oh, did you guys see this? I don't know if I should read this today. Did you guys see this? I forgot to bring this up. I got to end the show in a little bit, but the Sony. I talked about this a couple of years ago. Okay, a couple of years ago, I talked about this. Okay, PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive on launch. Now, I had a little video. Let me see if I can find it real fast. We talked about this way back when. Let me see. Sony. Is it hard drive? Hard drive. Where is it? I know I have it somewhere. We talked about it years ago. That's 2022. 2021. I can't find it right now in the Discord, but we talked about how you would have detachable hard drives and disk drives and stuff. So PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive on launch. Inside Gaming has learned that the PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive when console launches. The first introduction of the mid-generation of PlayStation 5, an exclusive report that by Insider Gamer in September 2022, the detachable disk drive was a means for PlayStation to reduce its production and shipping costs. For the next generation, the PlayStation, several sources who also wish to remain anonymous because they were also not authorized to talk about the company's plans, have said that the detachable disk drive is here to stay for the next generation. The reason I'm bringing up the hard drive situation, right, way back when, is that I said that they will meal piece the console together. They will remove stuff and then sell it to you again down the line. And this is what they did, right? So in this generation, they made a disc and diskless version. Same with the Xbox, Microsoft. And now the next version is that it's, well, they're going to sell it to you, right? Because now they can still charge $700, and then they can add the $100 disk drive on top of that. Okay. It says, identically, the PlayStation 5 and the detachable disk drive, consumers will be able to buy the console individually as a digital console bundle with PlayStation 6 as a traditional console, or upgrade later by purchasing the detachable disk drive separately. According to one source, unless things are changed in the last minute, PlayStation is firm on this decision because the disk drive for PlayStation 5 hit all the company's internal targets. Again, it was also reiterated by the source that the decision was made by the reduce of manufacturing and shipping costs during uncertain times. The tariffs. Okay, these uncertain times have seamlessly influenced PlayStation's decision to look at the next PlayStation 2, as rumblings suggest that the time around the PlayStation 6 will have much simpler design than its predecessor, again with maximized efficiency, shipping space, weight, and so on. Even though late at this month, we can expect PlayStation to introduce a new PlayStation 5 Slim revision to the market. Seriously? I love it. So the Slim version is going to be the same price, if not just a little cheaper than the $100 value they just raised it, right? So, which I'll include the 825 gigabyte hard drive instead of the standard 1 terabyte, which also believed that, like with the PlayStation 5 revision, the new revision will reduce the console's weight, indicating that PlayStation is trying to save pennies where it's necessary. While the news of a detachable disk drive may not be shocking to some, it's the best of both worlds and allows PlayStation to cater to both physical and digital markets while reducing cost. Here's the thing. Why give us a disk drive if you're not going to make games on disk drives? The only reason you would have a physical disk drive now is to play your old games on it. If the PlayStation 6 is backwards compatible and lets you play your old disc games on there. Otherwise, there's really no reason to buy this thing, right? So you would assume that they would make PlayStation 6 backwards compatible for PlayStation 5 or 4. I don't know if they'll go all the way back to PlayStation 2 games are running on your PlayStation 6, but that's just me. It says the plan means that physical games are here to stay, at least for the next generation with PlayStation 6. What do you think of the PlayStation 6 and having a detachable disk drive? No. Having a physical disk drive doesn't mean that physical games are still going to be here. It just means that they can say, hey, backwards compatibility, if you want to play your old games, you diehard PlayStation fans. You're going to have to buy a PlayStation 6 because you know you want the new stuff. And then here's the disc drive so you can play your old stuff. That's what they're doing. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Aku says 30. I'm starting to work at a bike part CNC place tomorrow while I'm looking for work as a pilot. I guarantee that this is going to be hard for a while, and I learn all the skills. Yeah, I mean, that's why people that want to be writers or actors, they work jobs at being a waiter or waitress because it's a job that they can call out the last second to go on an audition for and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they find something to fill in the gap, bartender, somebody that takes tips so they can make money while they do stuff. Right? That's what they do. People do what they have to do to get by. Ray says, jobs are hard nowadays because I spend half the time at work thinking what excuse I will use to time up with my time to go on a strike. Waterbear says, attachable disk drive for what? I guess we'll make a problem, sell a solution, eh? Yep. Clip says, does Helldivers have a shooting range? If not, it needs one. They do in the training facility, but not in the actual game. It would be interesting if they put a shooting range on the ship. That would be interesting. Let's see. PlayStation 6 with no disc drive, no stand, no controller for $700. Yeah. That's what they're going to get. They have detachable thumbsticks, too. That's a win, bro. Oh, a win that what I said like from years ago? I have to find that video. It's on GXG. We talked about it. I said they're going to sell you stuff like that. They're going to make games bigger, right, on purpose, so you have to buy storage, external storage drives, right? I said they're going to make games now, get rid of the physical disc version, and they'll have hard drive, like thumb drives or whatever, with the game already on it, so you buy the hard drive with the game on it, and then you can use it as a hard drive as well. But they're going to sell you an actual hard drive. That way they can raise more price because not only are you paying for the game, but you're buying a hard drive, which they get more money, and then you buy other games, and then you can put it on the hard drive that you bought. So let's say a Call of Duty game comes out, and they're like, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 hard drive sold separately, okay, comes with the game on it, and you get extra space. People are like, oh, I'll pay $150 for that. All right. That's what's going to happen. What else we got here? I think that's all we have for now. But we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow for the Daily Grind. We're here Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We just go over news stories, have conversations, talk to chat. Helps us out if you hit that like button, get us up there. Share the podcast with other people or share the morning show with other people. We'll be back in about 40 minutes or so playing some more Helldivers 2 with Mr. Luke over on our other channel, 30 and Still Gaming. Make sure you go check out our other videos on the channel. We have a video up right now. Let me bring it up real fast so I can show you. All right, if you haven't watched it yet, it's called This Generation's Left 4 Dead. It's up on this channel right now, so go check it out. Don't need sound. It's on this channel right now. Go check it out if you haven't watched it already. It just talks about why Left 4 Dead is, or I should say Helldivers is the Left 4 Dead for this generation. So make sure you go check out that video. Share that as well. We make up scripted content. We make podcasts. We do live shows. We do gameplay. We have multiple channels, so I appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll see you guys on 30 and Still Gaming for Helldivers 2. And if I don't see you over there, I'll see you tonight when we play more video games over on 30 and Still Gaming as well. If I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Sunshine, rise and shine. The Daily Grind is here on time with gaming news and fun galore. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is is on, jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixel small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty tuned in daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming always. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming always. Laughs and news on winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss? Entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time, with gaming news and fun below. We'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on, jump in the chat, let's have some fun.